guess we'll just kind of start here. We'll do the intro in a second. Bags. I gotta start getting rid of my bags. I got too many bags lying around. I always tell myself I gotta do a better job cleaning bags, and then bags get everywhere. Sometimes I wish clay didn't come in bags. Even though I know it's necessary, it's just... They're nice bags. I feel like there's probably a way that I could use these bags for something particular. Like, I wonder if I should cut them and then use them as a textile to make like a big, huge veil, like a bag veil. Anyway, cutting this, splitting it right in half. I'm going to take one of the halves. This would be the half that gets eaten up here. So I need to raise the size of this up just a little bit. Again, you see how I'm putting my body weight over top of it first, and then I can get it started. Because you see I'm only working with this chunk here. Does that make sense? Like, I want to start with a small chunk. I don't want to be centering or spiral wedging this whole big thing. You want to just get it started with a small chunk. If your hand positioning is right, do you see how this whole chunk that was over here is slowly coming up here, right? And so that makes this really easy to start moving and wedging up. If I move it to the left? Not really. If I move it at all, I'm just trying to... Do you see this wet spot? Like, if you want to keep it wet, then you keep it in the wet spot. But if you want to take moisture out of it, then you move it to a dry spot. You can kind of control which way you want it to move while you're wedging it, right? Like, it's almost like it's skating on the surface. You're not really... like using the surface. Alright. So you already have this little, do you feel that pops up? So that's gonna be annoying, but we'll deal with it anyway. Alright. I wish I would have turned that other one off. Hold on, guys. Wheel. Good morning, chili dogs. What you focus on? Gross. Feed them horses. Today, we're gonna be doing our last. We actually we caught up a little bit because today is a throwing week, right? Next week's a trimming week. We have one more session of throwing to do to get done with all of the cups. And then we'll go into making water whistles after, but while I'm trimming for next week. But I think it's just kind of cool that we caught up yesterday and now we just got to throw one more bag, I think, and that should be enough pots. Yeah, I think it should be enough. Let me see. I'm just trying to look around. Anyway, see you guys over there in a second. Ka-chow. All right. So, we like what we got here. We got a nice little mound. We got a nice little coffee. I could change to them. I just don't want to. If I have to buy new bats, it's just going to be kind of obnoxious, you know? Like, you'll be like, bats are expensive. Like, I feel like bats are, like, not cheap these days. So if I have a little bit of a wobble on it, it's okay because I'm throwing off the hump anyway, so I'm not too worried about it. Plus, I like the orange. I'm kind of addicted to the orange color. If I was to change, maybe I would do, like, this pink, or maybe, I don't know. Maybe not green because of the background. It's okay. I think out of all the things for my whole setup, the bats is like the least intrusive. Like, I should be working on fixing a lot of other things before I get to like the bats and stuff. I think I have an idea of making some like shelving unit that fits on my wheel for like a display at the end of my videos, but I don't know. I gotta call some people on some manufacturing thing because I want it to be out of a green screen stuff, so it just, that doesn't really make any sense. So just disregard it. Just know that I'm always thinking about new things when it comes to the videos that I'm making. It's not like shelves like that. It's like I want to make a structure that fits on the wheel head, that is a vertical structure that attaches to this, that holds my pots vertically. So then, for example, I'd have pots down here, pots here, pots here, pots here, pots here, pots here, just within the frame of the video. So it's not really for holding things, it's literally just for display for the video sake, right? So it's not really like, I don't want like things hanging out, I just want it like a display thing. Yeah, I have some ideas with some of that stuff that I'm pretty excited about. Just because I used to make all these boxes, like not 3D print. I cut out a bunch of on a CNC machine. I cut out a bunch of these boxes that hang on the wall with a French cleat. So I feel like I'm pretty good at having things lock into each other, or I know how to do that, right? And so I think I really just want to have, like, cut a thing that fits on this bat that I can sit on here, and then I can slowly build up like a shelf that locks into the bat, and then I could like stack like these wooden shelf, like these boards on there, right? But you said you have a big of an ego to tech. You have a big of an ego to tech. Not true. Really, is it? I have a big ego to tech. I don't know what a big ego to tech is. I feel like I have a big ego, but I'm not really good at technology. You said you had a big of an ego. Oh, to teach. Yeah, I don't like teaching, Gail. That's not my. I'm not a good teacher. Right out the side. I'm slowly just trying to feel out this form and lift this up. But I do want to get better at technology. You know, I feel like if I had a CNC machine, like if I owned one and a kiln, the world would be my oyster. Just kind of following this bump up. Take this. Put this. I like that. Like it's a little bit too tall. So hold on, let me zoom. That's a little bit better. This looks a little bit blurry on that top. Hold on one second, guys. Let me double check just to make sure it's really in focus there. Okay, it's fine. It just looked a little bit blurry from my angle. I can't wait until I can record. Like I think more pressing is what I should do is get a better video capture cards and upgrade my computer down here so then I can what's the word? So then I can record in 4K. You can't stream in 4K, I don't think, on YouTube, but I do want to record in 4K so then when I edit the footage I can do like nice zoom-ins without losing quality. You know, like if this was in 4K, I could zoom in this image way further and it not lose quality when I export it, right? Right underneath. It's what I'm streaming at is fine, but like when I try to edit video and make content stuff, I like being able to zoom and post like or in my editing software, so then I can like do some fun little zoom ins and it doesn't look like I'm losing a bunch of quality. Okay. Wheel? Alrighty. This down. This up. I feel like the software, it doesn't matter as much as the files that I'm saving, right? Like if the file is high quality, then it doesn't really matter what video editing software I use. Upscaling my recordings after the fact. Are you talking about using like the AI pixel interpolation stuff? I feel like I haven't tried any of that stuff, but I don't know if I like the look of it really. And I think it's a lot of that sort of stuff, like sometimes it takes a little bit more time. If I had to wait for it to like render a bunch of frames that didn't exist and create pixels that weren't there, you know? So I think it's just better if I just upgrade my computer and get a video capture card, 4K video capture card. Because everything right now, like when I stream, if I was to record 4K and stream at the same time, my computer just it what's the word? It will come up with a thing saying too much CPU usage and something with writing, and then the stream shuts off and then my file gets corrupted. So it's like it's kind of a disaster when I do that. Go right underneath here. Oh. You mean with like a whole little, it's like a little box that you like plug in that actually holds all the recordings on that? Yeah, I don't know, maybe. I don't really know how those things, that whole offloading thing works, to be honest. And I feel like my setup right now, I'm a big fan of my setup. So I don't know if I should, I haven't yet justified it's not like I'm making a ton of money doing this yet. So I haven't justified the purchase. I feel like I need to like keep doing this until it starts working, and then I can get more little like toys, you know? All right, I'll put this here. Shelf. Shelf. There, you can see I set that one there. Camera A. And we gotta get a lot of this like clay that got folded over. I just don't even try to work with that anymore. After it comes off, right? Like if you're ever collaring or pulling up a wall and you get like this little onion ring, that's that clay that doesn't get attached, right? When I cut this off, I'll show you guys the next time I do something here. When I get this next little pot off the top. Zoom. Zoom. Okay. Space. Right down to the bottom edge here. First pull is always to get those walls nice and even. Now I can get into the shaping of it. I kind of like these drawing lines on this one. You see like those little lines on there? I'll keep them on this one. So watch. So as I cut through the bottom, watch this fold that I start creating, right? Actually didn't fold, but do you see this little chunk here? Like watch, I'll scrape off. Do you see how it's not really attached on there? Because it's getting folded over water, right? And so with those little bits, I would just take those off now. And that's what I mean, like if I was to do a pole with that stuff, it just will come off as like this little onion ring, right? So that's why I usually do a quick cone up and down after I get a vessel off the wheel head here. Space. Shelf. Wheel. Alright. Use my finger, creating a little moment right there. This one's gonna be a little bit smaller, I think. So let's see how this one goes. Thumb in. Quickly do a small little pull and bring this up. A little water underneath. Project the finger out just a tad. Space. Alright, so here we go, guys. Do we want any of these on there? No, these are already too wet to put back on. Okay. Oh, I want to do one thing. So on the inside here. You see how I turn that down so then I can create a little, like a puck? Well, look, all this stuff right underneath. It's gonna be folded little boogers there. So you just gotta keep that in mind when you're doing this. I probably could do it a way where it would make it so it would be a lot easier. I wouldn't have to kind of address that, but I always feel like efficiency plays a big role in what I'm making. Space. Shelf. Shelf. There's this one there. Camera A. Wheel. Wheel. Alright. So I'm gonna get that stuff off. Zoom. Something too that if I take my little rib tool here and I get all this slip off when I go to make my cuts, makes it a little bit easier because there's no clay that gets underneath what I'm cutting off, so then the specks come off a little bit easier. But alright, so Shelf? Alright, y'all. We're gonna take a little coffee break here, guys. So this thing is mini wheel. Mini wheel? Mini wheel? There we go. Alright. Today's sponsor is Hydro Flask. Have you ever wanted to have scalding hot coffee throughout the whole entire day? You know, the type of coffee that makes your lips freaking quiver in fear as you're getting ready to take a sip? You know, that's how hot that coffee is, right? If you like coffee like that, like me, you'd love a Hydro Flask. They are literally some of the best, whatever you would call these things, double-walled metal vessel thingies. And it's kind of funny that on a Pottery stream I'm drinking out of a metal thing, right? Anyway, and then the coffee brand that we're sponsoring is Bulk Kirkland Coffee Ground. And it just, you know, there's nothing like getting a bag of coffee that lasts you like 2-3 months, right? Anyway, guys. Nothing like that. It's almost like there's like that fear of getting ready to take the sip. And you know it's hot enough when you start getting like those little like heat blisters in your mouth, right? You know, like when you look at your tongue and all your taste buds look like they're like, you know, infected because it's like they're burned. So they're trying to heal. That's a good cup of coffee. And what do we put in our coffee? That's right, absolutely nothing, because that's the only way to have your coffee, in my personal opinion. Anyway, and now we're back. Coffee break's over. Wall up. If you're ready, I'm always evening out those walls first. To the shaping now. shelf. There we go. Trying to think if I want a line there. Do you think we want a line? I like the sort of like the nude quality of this vessel, right? When you take the water off, there's nothing except you can see like it's almost like silk or like a skin over the form, right? I like how that looks, so maybe I don't do anything intrusive like an exterior design over top of this, you know? That's kind of my thinking behind when I would do these sort of cups. I did one maybe yesterday sometime too. That's kind of similar to this. Camera A. Wheel. Vase? No, that one's just gonna be just like a taller. It's actually gonna shrink down to like a normal size mug. Maybe like a 12 ouncer. Hey buddy, making it look easy as usual. Thank you, I appreciate it. Zoom. Right to the bottom. Find that edge. Always. Vase? Oh, shelf. Shelf? Wheel? Have I ever made any kind of teapot? Making teapot that pours really well is quite difficult, apparently. Yeah, I've made a couple of teapots before. I maybe have one really good one that pours well. I feel like teapots, though, like teapots are cool, but I also think they're like another one of those like flex forms, right? Like large forms, people make large forms to flex. People make teapots to flex, you know? Like, I feel like there's very few people that I've met who make teapots, like, they really are trying to explore the form of teapot. It's either they're trying to flex, like, some, like, lineage or history of making, or they're trying to flex their skills in making it, right? So, I don't know, I feel like the teapot trend that I see people doing, I don't know. I don't necessarily vibe with it. Sometimes I do a demo for my classes where I say, just grab a chunk, right? And then we'll make like a whole entire teapot from just one chunk of clay, you know? And so you throw the spout, the lid, and the vessel all from the same chunk. I think that's kind of cool. John Morvick from FIA, both non-functional and functional teapots, just made a black cat like 14 inches or taller. Yeah, I'm not sure, is that like a famous artist, and where's the FIA? Is that like a government thing? Like the CIA? Yeah, I'm not sure I ever heard of that place. So Guy? I feel like with an apostrophe, that means it's a name. That must be somebody who is an older person. Yeah, I don't really know where Flint's at. What's Flint? Flexing is a path to... Indeed, I asked because I really love tea. Chinese Gofu style and Japanese style. The good functional pot is hard to find. The pots used for both. Are you talking about the purple sand clay ones? Those teapots? I think there's a special place in China where they make a very particular type of teapot out of this stuff called purple sand clay. And all the teapots look almost waxy. There's this guy on YouTube who, I forget what his channel is, but he does a lot of like tea content on YouTube, and he has really good videos. He used to be like a comedian. Yep, that's a place, are awesome for sure, but expensive and unnecessary. They're built by hand with just a turnable no wheel per se. I've seen those. Those are some of the most beautiful teapots I've seen. Definitely. Shelf. There we go. Jesse the comedian, yes. I've gotten tea from him before. Cool guy. Yeah, I really do like his video stuff. And it seems like he was doing so much other things, but then he just had this like sudden boost in his online content, and then he just like full send into that content. It's really cool. I know. I love watching those videos. I don't think we'll keep this one here, guys. We're pretty far off with our... Maybe, I don't know. I might keep it. I'm not really a philosopher, yo. It's funny you said that. Alright. We kind of like this. We're gonna keep on. Oh, you guys can't even see what I'm doing. Camera A? Sorry guys, I was like totally... Usually I look up and I check what you guys are seeing, but you guys couldn't see anything at all. Maybe. I always feel like, I wonder, I've never really done that much history on philosophers, right? But I wonder if philosophers, what do they call themselves, right? Like, if I feel like a philosopher calls themselves a philosopher, I would say that they're not a philosopher. Or like, if they're like, oh, I'm not a philosopher, I'm a deep thinker, I'd be like, I'd roll my eyes a little bit too, you know what I mean? So I wonder what philosophers thought of themselves while they were doing stuff. Camera A. Shelf. Mini wheel. Mini wheel. A little sip of coffee here. So we already did one bag. We're gonna do the other bag, or the other half. And that's gonna be the stream for today. I wonder. No, this will be good. I think any more, and then I'm getting into the territory of too many. You know, like, I feel like if I have too many, then I won't have any room for my water whistles. Exactly. They thought they were just guys making observation. That's accurate. Interesting. Okay. So now you see we have this little chunk. Now we can start, and then watch as this stuff will come around here, right? You see how it's slowly getting fed up into the main thing. I'm just gonna make sure that when we finish this off, we just slowly get to it like a roll, right? Like you just want to walk that curve in till it's flat. So you see how I made a lot smaller of those little pushes, so I could have a nice little thing here, right? Okie dokie. My jaw has been like dislocated for a week now. It is so painful. It's like, it feels like this is just like got dislocated and it's like pinching a muscle or a nerve. every time I chew, every time I yawn, if I ever try to shift my jaw, like when I'm eating, it is like, how do I explain the pain? It's kind of like, imagine you hyperextended like a joint, like either your knee or your elbow. You know how it like hurts pretty bad, you know, for a little bit? I've been having that consistently for the past week. It's crazy. I feel like I just need to like pop it back into place somehow. But I've been trying to be pretty forceful with it, but it's not helping. Yeah, but I don't know what to do. You know, I don't want to go like what are they gonna do? Like, put me to sleep and stick me with needles? Yeah, I'd rather deal with the jaw pain. You know? Watching the kneading and shaping process was awesome. Yeah, I feel like it's kind of cool when you see that little, like that clay come around into itself, right? Like a little swirl. Like, I think that's pretty cool. And all I'm doing here, you can see like not connected, connected, not connected, right? So what you want to make sure that you're going down and you seal that, but you don't want to like cut over it. So that's why I'm really trying to drive my fingers underneath there, because I'm trying to cut those little air pockets out, and so that the clay from the inside pushes outward. Okay, but so now you can see it's all nice and sealed down there, right? So now we can kind of go in from the top and push this down first, right? And you see I'm just slowly taking that backhand, I'm sliding it down. I'll show you one more time. So I'm pushing forward and I'm slowly taking that backhand down, right? Watch that little line go down to the bottom, and then you just sneak that hand in, right? And you see how there's like this little bump that forms? That's where you send this part of your hand, back part, and it just scoops that right up. And then you push that left hand into that right hand, right? And when you're working with this amount of clay, you're gonna have to push a little bit, but my fingers right now, they're not really that tight, but it's my elbow, my arm is tight to the clay, right? And I'm always pushing like if I'm not starting off the clay and I'm pushing up against it, I'm starting on the clay and I'm pushing past it, right? You see how you're pushing past it? That's really what you're doing there. Hold on. Get that out of there. See that my bat kind of not being on there properly. You can even probably hear the clicking, it's so obnoxious. That's okay. Alrighty. Gotta get some new water too. My water's like really thick. Let's get the new water now. Somebody said, oh, Rad said hello. Hello, Rad. It's been a while, yo. And somebody said, cool title. Thanks, yo. I have to thank ChatGPT. Before I was just naming things like literally everything was the same, or just the date, or it was like a spoon, battery, water bottle. Like the things I would literally just see right in front of my eyes. That was the title. But then I was like, you know what I gotta do? Why not like say like, all right, ChatGPT, write me a clay story, you know? And then it writes me some story, and then I'll base the title off of a story, right? Just because I feel like, I don't know, I've been doing the same thing with a lot of my Instagram posts, really. It's like, I'll make a normal video, like one of my edited things that's pretty wacky, and then, like, I go to make the title, and I just get so, like, titling and labeling things is, like, so difficult for me, because I think it's cringe, right? And so it's so nice when I can say, like, ChatGPT, please write me a title that's like Instagram pottery vibes, right? And then it will like give me all the hashtags, all the cringe emojis, and it'll make me feel like I'm really part of the Instagram scene. You know, without actually having to like type out an emoji. Do you guys use emojis? I feel like I try not to use emojis. ChatGPT always comes in clutch. I feel like I just need to start learning how to use that more. Because there's like people on Instagram, or on YouTube at least, who make content that's just purely ChatGPT, and they make tons and tons of, like, they make so much money from just using ChatGPT to do all the editing and everything. I feel like I still want to do all my editing, even though it's like simple editing, you know? But I think that there's other ways I could use AI to kind of make my content look a lot cooler online, right? Or at least be able to access more people. Like, I always wonder how important hashtags are. So if I don't even have to write the hashtags, great, you know? Because when I say hashtag pottery vibes, yeah, I want to vomit. But maybe I'm just too much of like a anti-technology human being. Believe it or not, before I got into the whole like YouTube thing last year, I had no social media, no smartphone for like 4 years. 4 years, yeah. It was awesome. Talk about productivity and enjoying life. Oh my gosh. It was the best. Maybe a way to assist it, like help with recommending effects. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Just like, I feel like there's a lot of things that I just need to start playing with AI more. Did I start YouTube when I started making the trees? Yep, I started when then. I will never use AI in my videos. I've seen Terminator enough times to know better. YouTube is the only social media I've ever done, and I got my first smartphone like 2 years ago. There you go, yo. I don't blame you for not wanting to use AI. I feel like it's kind of creepy, but I think like I want to kind of like intrude on the pottery influencer world. Like, I feel like the way that my brain kind of works is very different from, I mean, everybody's brain works differently, but there's like a vibe to being like this Instagram or like YouTube pottery influencer. I want to intrude on that world a little bit. And so I'll play their game, but let me tell you, when I start winning, I'm gonna take over, yo. Yeah, we like that. There's another type of AI that is becoming popular. Multiple AIs talk to each other to come up with a solution that seems scary. Yeah, I think you're probably right. I've thought about doing like I want to do this thing where I take like my videos, like a bunch of like still images, and have them using AI to make the in-between frames of two things becoming one, you know? Or like transitioning between each other using video. Because you know, like when AI like does stuff like that, it looks very AI, right? Like I kind of wanted to play with that look a little bit. Because I don't see a lot of like pottery people using AI. I think Adobe does have that thing. The only thing is, I think when you give Adobe the rights of your content, right, or the image, when you do that, which might be, maybe it's fine. Like I kind of like the idea is like, what if my pots become like, somebody goes to type in, can you make a vessel in a video game, and like it makes one of my like tree forms instead of like a normal vessel. Like I feel like that'd be kind of cool. Like that way you're almost becoming like a little like Easter egg in AI, right? Like I think if I was like a digital artist, I would have loved to see like AI stealing my work. Like I actually think that'd be like crazy. Or like somebody's posting AI content, but I literally see like my brushstrokes in there. Like, I don't know. I know a lot of people think that's kind of like, that sucks, but how cool is that? Like you literally are like now a part of like content that's like, maybe you don't even know how many times your work is being replicated, right? Like you're embedded into it. I don't know why everyone doesn't watch your streams. I've seen other Potter streams and they tend to be, yeah, I don't know. I feel like what I would say is to that is, it's such a weird thing, right? But for some reason, like whenever I try to do things, I'm sure everybody's feels like this, so I know I'm not like alone in this feeling, but it always seems to be like whenever I think I'm starting to get good at something, or like I feel like I'm getting it, like I feel like I'm never recognized for that thing, no matter what it is, right? Whether it's pottery, it's anything art related, technology, like out in real life, in like friendships, relationships, all that stuff. Like I always feel like I'm never really like noticed, and I'm like pushed aside, right? And so like I've just been like thinking like, okay, like why does that happen? And the only things I can think of are like self-damaging thoughts. So instead of like trying to think why that happens and get like bitter about it, you know, I'd rather just get like passionate about what I'm like doing and kind of keep like pushing through it, and like get angry, but not in a damaging way. Get angry in like a productive, positive thing that helps me generate more, right? So don't think about it too much. You know, if you enjoy like what I'm doing, then that's great. Then stay, you know, and don't feel like you always have to stay too. Like some days I'm playing some music that you might not like. Feel free to check out that day, you know, like you don't have to support me 24/7. Because I still feel like I'm doing quite a bit of different things. Like I was doing the trees for a whole year, and now I'm not even touching trees, right? Next year I might, maybe I will do glass blowing. I'm just kidding. It'll probably always be pottery related things or clay related things. But yeah, things are subject to change for sure. The vibe always changes. I feel like yesterday's morning stream was like party vibes. I feel like you kind of gotta let the vibes influence you a little bit. Like you gotta feel the vibes, and you gotta let them come, and you gotta let them exist. You know, you can't force a vibe. I think you're doing the right thing, man, and I always enjoy watching your stuff. For sure, it's relaxing, educational, and thought-provoking, generally speaking, and always positive. That's glad. Sometimes I feel like I get a little bit too, like, at least recently, I've been getting too heated. I've been putting forth too many opinions, I feel like. Sometimes I gotta be careful I don't do too much opinion stuff. I think opinions, they can... Hold on. Zoom. I think opinions are good, don't get me wrong. Opinions are great, right? But I have a video now that has a ton of views of me eating clay, so I still have people just calling me clay eater all the time. That's the last thing. You know, being known as being someone who eats clay is fine. Like, I don't care about that. But if I'm known for being like a roast, like I only roast and it's not related to my work at all, I don't know, I feel like I'd be a little bit sad. I don't know, I really don't like this one. This one looks terrible to me. It's too thin on the edge too. So let's see what we can do here. dried clay is eaten in a lot of countries, so it's not abnormal. That's what I'm... See? I learned actually a lot from that video too. Like, there's so many comments of people talking about all sorts of interesting knowledge that I had no idea about. I feel like, you know, when I was in school, we'd have like a critique day, right? And you'd have a bunch of people talking about your work, right? And so I think that there's something kind of really cool about, or related, when I was, when that video was doing really well. It was like, hold on, I just want to make sure that's okay on the inside. It was like I was getting critiqued from all the people who were commenting, right? And so I got such an a monumental amount of information from people just commenting a lot, which I thought was really cool, right? I think if I was ever a teacher in like an undergraduate setting, I would, you know, I'd make students like, well, it'd have to be like a dedicated wham to the server. Do you guys know that? I just did that stutter. Like a dedicated, why can't I say that word? What is going on? Dedicated. A dedicated class that's about using a comment section as a way to critique, or as a form of critiquing and bettering your work, right? Because I think people, when they're, and sometimes I look at the comment sections, I'm like, dang, like, that's like a better critique than some people gave me my whole entire time in school, you know? And so I feel like if you can somehow use the online world as a way to help you like generate better work, how cool of a class would that be? But it can't be mandatory, because you can't like force people to like post content online. It'd have to be like an elective course. Hey, just do you tend to express opinions, I don't even know, judiciously? I don't even know that word. Judiciously. Yeah, I feel like I don't know that word. But I get what you mean. Like, just kind of do my thing. Okay, I respect that. I like this. It's like the little mess up right there. Literally the one side you guys see is that little mess up, but that's where we put the handle, right? Usually if I'm not totally even with my pattern, I end up with something like that. Anyway, so now we got our whole board. Oh, you guys can't even see. Shelf. So we got our whole board filled up here. So what are we gonna do now? Oh no. We're gonna start sending stuff back on that mini wheel. Right here. We're gonna set our stuff on there from now. Just means sensibly in this case. Okay, yeah. We had a lesson in English when I was younger on how to provide constructive feedback. I really enjoyed it. Yeah, I think like I just love listening to people roast me. Like, man, I think when you're in school, you know, I get what you're saying there, Em, is like how to provide constructive criticism or feedback. But I think sometimes people get it wrong. They get constructive feedback as in telling somebody what they want to hear. You know, like I feel like so many times when I was in school, like a lot of the critiques were basically like, how can I talk about this appropriately? Like very self-indulging. Like it seemed like when you went to a critique, it was meant to like make this other person feel like really good, you know, over like making the work better with that in mind. Like the goal I always think for critique is like, how can we like tear this apart so we can make this thing better, you know, like that's like why we're here, right? I feel like it was always a waste of time when everybody gets in there like, I love this color, like the form is great, this is all, it was just always sunshine and rainbows, you know? Where I think like when I post stuff online, people will literally destroy you, you know, like, and they like to rip you apart, you know? And I always feel like I learn a lot more from getting ripped apart than I do from somebody like gassing me up, right? Speaking of critiques, I practice martial arts, and on my YouTube page about which is blade throwing, I figured I'd get ripped apart in the comments, and that's what I wanted. Yes, I love that, yo. I feel like it's just the way to do it. Like, it's just fun, and like, you know, hopefully, you know, and if you get like lucky enough to get a bunch of people like commenting on a video like that, I guarantee you somebody who is like a pro blade thrower, and they'll like tell you like, your pinky was too far in the fourth quadrant of the blade, you know, and then you're like, oh, you know, like something really happens sometimes in a comment section. Constructive criticism, but people are overwhelmingly positive in my comments, so much so that I'm suspicious that people are being kind to me for some reason. Yeah, I feel like sometimes people are really, don't forget that there is actually kind people in the world, you know, like sometimes I get really cynical and I'm like, oh, these people are like, they don't mean it. But, you know, when I'm out, like, for example, there's this lady at the grocery store that I visit, right? And I'll see her every single time I go to get groceries, gotta get groceries on the same day. And this lady, she'll tell me about, like, her kid's basketball game and how she's really excited and she's getting her hair done later, and, you know, and then she'll tell me that, like, they canceled her hair appointments and now she's gotta wear a wig. You know, it's like, and when you talk to her, she like really is a kind human being, right? Like, I forget that there's people who are actually just kind, right? But I do think like what I always am like looking for in my comment sections is like the people who roast, right? I really like listening to their feedback. I always say, like, I think I said this yesterday too, when somebody is like roasting you, they 100% mean it. You know, like I feel like very few people are roasting you and they like really like adore you, you know? Like, I feel like I like to have the people who are roasting me who are literally just mean humans. Like, I've learned to appreciate like very mean individuals. I feel like even in my personal life, I'm always attracted to like being around people who are a little bit mean, right? That's my bad. It's my own issue then, maybe. Yeah, so M thinks it's about balance. All right. I think that's totally a fine perspective to take too. I feel like my dad is like that a lot. My dad, he's always talking about balance. There we go. How often do you comment on other people's content that is like parallel to yours, right? Like, there's got to be a whole like little subculture of people like doing like knife throwing stuff or martial arts type of content online. Do you, at least on YouTube, do you interact with those people at all in their like comment sections? Because like how I've normally interacted with anybody online is I don't. Like even if I like somebody's content, I just don't comment, right? But I've been trying to get better at commenting on content that I think is like cool, you know. So I think like if you're really trying to get some people talking with you, you know, like there's probably a couple of people that I've met just through like the stream and commenting on people's like joining their live streams and talking to them. So I feel like I've met a couple people like that now just by putting my word or my voice out into their comment sections or like into their world, right? And you might find somebody who's you really get along with too, and they'll give you some good, you know, they'll give you some good feedback. It's like I always enjoy seeing like Pottery live stream people because I get interested in like what they do, right? How do they make it work? What's their systems like, you know? Like it's fun to me. Oh, maybe well, if you had that person commenting, maybe you're just really good. That's also a thing too, you know. That's pretty exciting. So we'll set this guy over here. And you know, sometimes I think videos mask a lot of things that, like the nuances of seeing somebody do it in real life, right? Like, maybe that's not always the case. Sometimes videos do a decent job. But like when I'm working with my students on the wheel and I'm sitting across from them, getting to feel like what their hands are doing and getting to see too, like that helps me out like monumentally, right? Because like it makes me put in perspective like, oh, like why is the clay not moving how they want it to, but when I do it, it is. So what am I doing with my hands that they are not doing, and what are they doing with their hands, right? And when I start to learn like what they're doing with their hands, all of a sudden I start finding like patterns that people do, like that isn't just them, that I can find in other people. I'm like, oh, like I've encountered this problem before in another student, now I can, you know. So I think there's like some bit of learning that happens when you work with people. Calling that in there. It's getting a little bit thin on the top, so I gotta, it's all good. You said you seem like you're exceptionally skilled yourself. You can coax out these awesome forms in seconds, and you explain things in a way that is really easy to understand. I appreciate you saying that. I think I still have a lot of, you know, I'm still pretty early on in my pottery endeavors, you know, and I got my whole life, so I hope that I continue to just keep getting better and better. It's going to be the saddest day ever when I feel like I've stopped getting better at this thing, you know, so. And again, do you see how wobbly it is right now? We're not worried about it. Because again, this top is level, right? The top is even. It's the bottom that's throwing it off center. So when you go to trim this, that's all you got to do is when you flip it upside down, now it's even, it's flat to this, so then you just got to trim it while it's soft and you cut through that unevenness on the bottom, and then you're all set, right? Chill. I should be okay. CJ said, "You cannot conquer clay in one lifetime. There will always be more problems to solve and adventures to be had. From your age, you are supreme." That's very gas me up too much there, but I appreciate it. I think, yeah, I don't know. I want to be able to, I need to get so good at this thing though that like, even people who've been doing it their whole lifetime would be like, dang, you know, like I want to get that good at it, you know. And I think there's still a lot of things that I can work on. To be honest, like I think I'm only like half serious right now, right? Because I think I'm trying to do two things at once. Like I'm trying to create content and I'm trying to throw, right? I think if I really wanted to get like really good, then I would stop doing the whole content thing and just doing the throwing. But I feel like I gotta kind of invest in something that hopefully will work out in the future. So we'll see. If you ever notice I'm just gone for like a couple of years, you know, I'm just freaking somewhere with just a wheel and some clay. Or I'm dead. One of those two. You've been practicing the Shuriken Jutsu for 25 years, and I still feel like I'm just starting to maybe understand it a little. That's awesome. I hope that's kind of like what happens like to me. Like once I've been doing this for 25 years, Like, I think it would be awesome to be able to feel like I still am, like, growing. Okay, here we go. Wheel. Camera A. So watch what happens. I push in, and you see all this. It's not slip, it's actually hard clay, right? But every time I cut off and trim off the pots, I accidentally fold clay over itself. And if there's water in between two chunks of clay folding, you're gonna end up just ripping it off as you're working with it anyway. So I just get that off now, and then I'll cone up the clay here, and any clay that starts coming off, now we get that out of there so that it doesn't translate itself later into the vessel, right? Thumb in, thumb up. Do you see all this? Like this stuff here, that's all ready to just fold. Okay. First thing you're doing is getting the walls even. There's a little air pocket there. Okay. Right underneath. Zoom. Underneath, pop this through. Mini wheel. There we go. Got my phone plugged in. Last thing I heard was your commentary on understanding throwing after 25 years of practice. I was just saying, like, once I reach 25 years of, like, doing something, right? Like, the most I've ever done in 25 years was breathe. You know? Like, I haven't done anything for that long yet, right? But I will say, like, when I do get to be able to do something for 25 years, like if I am on the wheel for 25 years, yo, I hope that I still can discover things that, like, surprise me. Like what you were saying about how you've been doing your shuriken jitsu stuff. After 25 years, you feel like you start to understand a little bit now. I hope I still have that same feeling with this stuff as I keep doing it for that long, you know. I think part of it is more of like if you put yourself in if you're in the target zone for surprises to happen, right? Like I feel like you can't expect surprises to to occur when you're not like looking for them, you know. Psychologically and spiritually enriching martial art there is. Wow. I don't know a lot about martial arts. I feel like what I would want to see is like wait, hold on. How do you know what you want to focus on? What do you mean? Like while I'm here right now on the wheel, or just with my life? But I was gonna say, like, have you ever seen the equestrian horse as a hobby? Well, I think hobbies, I don't know, I think hobbies are things that make you happy, right? Like, they make you relaxed, right? So, like, even though I'd count, like, what I'm doing is, like, a hobby, I don't know if it's a type of hobby that makes me feel, like, relaxed. Like, I think it stresses me out and it makes me irritated. So I'd say, like, maybe if you, like, want to do, like, a hobby, making a hobby, like, feel relaxing is probably the first step, is what I would say that you want to focus on. I don't know. Because I feel like if you're looking for a hobby, then you're looking for something to help you escape from, like, some sense of reality a little bit, right? maybe not. Maybe that's through the lens. When I say that, maybe that's too opinionated as like a, some people probably do hobbies and they're not even thinking about escaping the troubles of their daily life, right? Maybe they're just existing. I think that's also an archetype. But I think when people say that they're looking for a hobby, I think they're trying to like find or escape somehow, right? Kind of weird, right? Learning new things and having fun. Yeah, I would say that's good. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of like this little like cutting through this rim. There's one side where it has like some more junk on one side than the other. So I split the rim and I push it down. I don't know. This one, I think it's okay. I like the way that it creates this little ledge and it like there's something else that's happening on that rim other than just the rim. You know, so I don't know. We'll play around with more of the split rim stuff, I feel like, as we keep on cruising here, right? I think the word hobby is something that is not easily defined, to be honest. Like, I would consider myself like hobby potter, right? But some other people might not think so. I think a lot of people who don't consider themselves hobby potters, and they're like considering themselves like ceramic artists, I think they're really hobby potters. I don't really know what makes a ceramic artist. I feel like there's very few real ceramic artists in the world right now compared to like hobby makers, right? Like, what makes somebody a ceramic artist? You know, that's a hard question. If you're paid to work at this, you are a professional. Yeah, I don't know. My retired Japanese friend calls her small business hobby pottery. Yeah, right? So I think so. I'm just trying to think about what makes something like ceramic art and not just like hobby. Like, maybe a hobby is just a bad word. Like it can be too many things, I think. And I've never liked the response of like art being anything, you know? So, I don't know. Dude, I'll send you $30 if you make me a ceramic bong. Joseph Shmolskinski. Alright, Joseph. Your name sounds a little Polish. I would assume that Poland does not like contraband items like bongs. So I'm gonna have to report you to the Polish government. No, I'm not gonna do that, dude. Went a little bit thin towards that base there. So we gotta be careful here. What are Polish correctional facilities like? A huge vat of acetone? I don't know. I was just assuming from your last name there, but I'm not sure. I can imagine. Like, what's Poland food? Like kielbasa, right? Polish foods. Blood soup, I think, is Polish, right? Pierogies, I think, are Polish. Maybe they'll have pierogies there for you. Hobby is a vague word. I'd like to think that any of these endeavors, pottery, shurikenjutsu, and what have you, have higher order that can't be expressed in words. I think that's a wonderful explanation on it. I think too, I think a lot of people won't accept that, though, right? I think some people are really into defining things with strong guidelines, right? So when you say it can't be expressed in words, I think a lot of people, I feel like I respond with that. I resonate with what you said, but I do think that a lot of people don't like that a thing can't be expressed, they can't accept that. just cut the side of it pretty. Oh, I did. Oh, man. You guys can kind of see that, right? Maybe you can't really see it. Second. I think this looks kind of nice. I like that. Maybe we'll have like another thing on this side, like popping off the vessel. It's almost like a slug just crawling at the side of it. Since you don't/won't sell your work, do you consider it a hobby for your mind? I don't really think that the pottery stuff, I think very often gets lumped in with like this idea of mindfulness. I don't really think like the pottery thing doesn't make me feel like peaceful. Like it makes me feel a little bit aggravated and stressed out. But it gives me like value. So like I would consider it a hobby for like sanity, right? Like if I wasn't doing this, I don't know, like, yeah, let's just say like a life with no value is not a very positive existence, right? But throwing on the wheel gives me a sense of making like tangible value, right? And so I feel like it just keeps me sane. I feel like I'd be crazy without this stuff. Well, I am already a little bit crazy. Right underneath. Yeah, I mean, all these cups I'm making to do like a, I've never done like an art fair thing, so I wanted to try that out. So we'll see, but I think I'm gonna be kind of like a little bit like obnoxious, you know, like I'm gonna have nothing labeled with prices, and if somebody wants something, they literally have to just like bargain with me, you know, because I feel like every piece like is a little bit different. And then I also think like there's definitely people that I'd meet and I don't want to sell them my stuff too, you know? So I feel like it's gonna be a total shit show. But it's okay. We'll see, because I gotta try to do it. Camera A, because I just have too many stuff. So that's why I'm doing a lot of the cups recently, is for that, right? But I don't know, maybe one day I'll do the online thing. I just gotta hold off. I thought about this fun series where I do, every year I increase the value of my object. So year one, everything is $1. Year two, $2. Year three, $3, right? And then like, I don't know, one day in 25 years, when I have been doing this for 25 years, I'll be able to sell them for a good 25 bones. Clay off. We got 2 more vessels on this here. So we'll do this top one here. I won't live that long. You just answered my question. I'll quit asking. I wanted to purchase one of your pieces now. It's possible. It's just I don't know. I'm not there yet, you know. Yeah, I'm not there yet. One day, I hope so. I think too with this one, do you see how there's like some zoom? You guys can kind of see some of those lines in there. We're gonna keep the lines there. Cause like I think a lot of people they give those lines away. Like they get rid of them. Right? So how about we keep those lines? I feel like it's hard to get something that even without using a profile tool or like the rib tool to get that kind of nice shape there. But I think I kind of like when you get revealed that it's a thrown object a little bit on that outside there. Camera A? Have I tried using different materials to make my pieces? Like, you mean different clay bodies? Yeah, I use porcelain for some of it. I started with porcelain, really. That's like all I did was porcelain works. Then I got into stoneware. Well, I actually started with, the first pot I made was a terracotta vessel. And before that I was doing slip casting. Then I went to, when I started throwing, I did porcelain, a lot of porcelain work. Then I got into stoneware, and I've just been doing stoneware for a while. And then every once in a while I dip back into porcelain, but I kind of like stoneware. I think porcelain feels like too sterile. Porcelain is the white lady and wants to be treated like a queen. That's what you feel like when you're working with porcelain. I imagine you, like, in your mind, the clay is talking to you, and it's like in a queen voice, like, I do not want to be that form. No. It's kind of funny. What is stoneware for you then? Stoneware is manly. You think so? Like when I think of stoneware, I think of like a dog that goes out and gets like really muddy, and then you have to like wipe its feet off before it gets in the house, you know? Like that's what I think of stoneware. Or maybe it's maybe a little bit more controlled. Maybe it's like it's like a groundhog, right? Like groundhogs are kind of like a dirty animal, but they're also like, they look like they're sturdy, you know? It was Groundhog's Day recently. I love Groundhog's Day. That's probably like one of my favorite holidays. It's Groundhog's Day. Puxtatani Phil, yo, that's the groundhog. And they bring him out like it's a WWE like SmackDown, you know, like they're like Puxtatani Phil, ah! And then they have like people who literally like translate what he says, and it's like they read a note, like, or it's like or when I watched it recently, it was like they have two scrolls, and they kind of like have a groundhog whisperer who tells everybody which scroll he pointed at, and then they read the scroll, and it's like, and he's seen his shadow, and he's going back underground 6 more weeks of winter, you know, like, it's kind of crazy. Somewhere it says, make me into anything, I can't take it, I can take it, I have strength and vitality. Wow. Interesting. Some people are really, they can't stop with the porcelain. They're really into porcelain. Like I'll talk to some people, and I think they already are struggling with control a little bit, you know? And so I feel like if you're wanting to go into porcelain right away, like, and it's not just all type of porcelain feels the same, you know? Every porcelain feels a little bit different, right? But if I was to generalize, right? A lot of the people that go straight for the porcelain say that, oh, if I keep working with the porcelain, I'm going to get better at it. I think really if you just get really good at throwing with stoneware, you'll be able to throw porcelain. You know, like I think they're not that different really, you know. I think at least when you work with stoneware, it's more like you're carving, so then you have more of like a, like you can feel like what you're doing more. I don't even know what I'm going to do with this bottom thing here. I guess we got to make this into little rings. Dang, so you really don't like porcelain. You're stuck to the stoneware. I'm the same way. I really like stoneware. I just think that, like, if you want to have a white clay body, why not just, like, paint on some white slip, right? Like, I think when people work with porcelain, I think they talk about this idea of, like, purity And I really don't think like porcelain is like one-to-one means purity. I almost feel like that's kind of like it's weird. Like all the porcelain that you're using is not just like, it's not like directly from a mountain in China, you know. Like it is like mixed together. It is a couple different clays from around the world with some like feldspar, maybe, I don't know, right? Like you got, every porcelain is a little bit different, and it's like a recipe, you know. So it's not purity in my mind, right? There's probably some that does, like porcelain work that does, but I feel like it's more about how it's presented, right? Using bare hands, doesn't it have side effects like this? Like side effects like my hands just drying out? Yeah. My hands, like sometimes if my skin's got accustomed to it a little bit, and my hands are pretty wrinkly these days. Sometimes when I bend my fingers, they will break and I get cuts. Like you don't want to use, if I use hand sanitizer, my whole hand will kind of like freak out. Okay, so we got this guy here. We kind of like this one. Look at that. Oh, ribbon candy there. We'll set some of these off to the side. Whoa. So that's what we'll do with this last little bit. On-gobe is an option. Yeah, I would just use like an on-gobe is kind of like a slip, but it fluxes a little bit more. It's like an under-fired glaze almost. It's like a true matte instead of a crystalline matte. Porcelain carved thinly gives me such sunlit beauty. Yeah. Out of bone, like bone clay, right? Like bone ash. I mean, I use bone ash in like all of, well, in a lot of the glazes we use, I think they use pig bone in, which I think that's like kind of, like I bet there's some cultures out there that, isn't there some cultures that don't like pork or pigs, right? But some glazes use pig, like for the glaze, they use bone ash, and a lot of those bones are from pigs, right? And so they're drinking out of an object that has pig ashes in it, which I wonder if that is like bad. You know what I mean? Like I think about that sometimes. Or like, for example, calcium carbonate, right? A lot of it, I think, is like seashells. Like shells are calcium carbonate, right? So you're using, like, that's not a vegan thing. You're using the shell of a living animal to, you know? Bone ash is for magic water? Yeah, I don't know. I don't really know what the... but bone ash, people use it in glazes quite a bit. There's a lot of glazes and even some clays, I think, that use bone ash. That's what I want done with my bones. So I want to be made into a glaze. Soap sometimes is made from seashells, right? So is that vegan? You know what I mean? Like, is that a vegan, is that soap not vegan then? I have some vegan friends that I would like to talk to about this. I feel like me and my vegan friends, we always get into these little things. And usually they just tell me how dumb I am. But I think we got them this time. A little ribbon candy there. how can you have vegan leather? I've seen it advertised. I think vegan leather is probably just like some plant-based thing that they make it feel like leather. I don't know what we're doing with this last one, by the way, guys. We're kind of just YOLOing it right now. Alright, y'all. That's kind of all I got for today. We did all those ones over there. Shelf. Did all these ones down at the bottom here. We went through a bag of clay. And I would say we're probably done for throwing the cups for this week. So I'm going to go edit all the shorts from all the content I did this week. And I'll post those all throughout next week while I am trimming. So, yeah, that's kind of what we'll be doing there. Let me rinse my hands off, and I can do like a little outro for you guys. But just make sure I get all this. At least all like the main stuff. Like if there's a little bit left over, that's fine, but I'd like to get all that main stuff over. And then so next week sometime we'll do the edited thing of these done too, and then maybe sometime next week I'll do one stream of water whistles. But I just am not gonna stream the trimming. It's just too boring. It just like really makes me wanna, like, there's no good content that I think comes from a trimming day. Alright. Would you look at that? You pretty good at what you do. Me? I don't know, maybe. Alright. Let's get over here, guys. We'll pause this. Alright. Alrighty, guys. Good evening, chili dogs. You know, we were working today. We threw a bag of clay, doing this stuff off the hump. I'm telling you, throwing off the hump, it's next level. There's nothing like throwing off the hump. I think that when you throw off the hump, you are thinking about things in parts. You're like splitting up a chunk of clay in your mind into objects, right? And I think sometimes when you go to each, you have a ball weighed out and you're going to it, you're placing so much information on what you want out of that clay, rather than when you have this big mound and you can kind of just like go with it, right? Kind of respond to what you're feeling, right? And really getting in tune with like, oh, the clay's a little bit thick here, maybe I'll go out. Oh, the form's gonna be bellied out a little bit here. Or, oh wow, I have a lot of thickness here, maybe I'll cut right into the clay, right? You have a lot more, you're going into your objects with a sort of freestyle. It's like pottery freestyle, you know? That's what I think throwing off the hump is, right? So anyway, guys, thanks again for watching. I already told you guys I'll be trimming next week, but yeah, thanks for watching. All the best and strong mentality. Ka-chow. And I'll give you guys a little pottery edit to I really, I always say I'm gonna fix that, like my thing that plays my videos for me here, but I never do. So we have to do it manually. Which one should I show you guys today? I think this one is probably my favorite, just because it's like the new stuff. So this is what those cups will kind of look like. All right, peace out.
I'll never stop until I'm number one, baby.